To pass this law, the Georgian Dream has resorted to rubber bullets, denying they used rubber bullets, and then cursing out journalists when called out for it. Guys, they used rubber bullets. I was f***ing there. Tear gas, beating peaceful protesters, pepper spray, hiring thugs dressed like civilians to beat up peaceful protesters. The Russians also used this in Ukraine during Euromaidan. They are called titushkis, so the fact that they're using that says a lot. Beating women up, very Russian government of them. And they keep adding things while I make this video. Just recently they started calling protesters and cursing them out with Ukrainian numbers. Like basically people get a phone call from a Ukrainian number or a hidden caller ID, and on the other side it's a Georgian dude cursing you out for protesting. Like what?
მე მომწონს გამჭვირვალობა მომწონს სახში სუშები მაქვს სულ ლომჯარია ვინ არის ლომჯარია ვინ არის და შენი ნამდვილი დედა მართლა ეხა უნდა ვიგებ მე 31 საათში უნდა ვიგებ ნამდვილი დედა ვინ არის ჩემი ხო ანგარიშზე არ გამოგელიოს გაიგე უცხო ქვეყნიდან ეკავ და მაგიტო ხო ხდები ხო აი რატო მოგწონს შენ მივხვდი იმიტომ რომ სამსახურს დაკარგავ მე სადღაც არ ეკავ შეჭემა უნდა დაждდე სადმე კოლცენტრში იმუშაო და ამიტომ გეუბნები ნახე შენ აი ხა მანდ ტექსტი ეგ ფურცელი დახიე რაც მანდ გიწერია და ისე მელაპარაკე და
The Russian Dream, I mean Georgian Dream, the current ruling party of Georgia has tried to hijack our slogan, No to Russian Law, and they pretend that they are also against the Russian law, and what they are passing is a Georgian law. But I will explain why it is not, and you will also see this trend of them tryharding extremely hard. Just so much clown behavior. After the mayor of Tbilisi came out and denied they used rubber bullets against us, again, and then cursing the journalist out because she called him out for lying.
ბატონო კახა კი არა თან მოიკითხე მეთქი ოჯახში ნორმალურად კი არა ზრდილობიანად უტიფარი დაუძახე დედაშენს და მამაშენს სახში რომ იხლა უზრდელი შეხარ თავხედი უზრდელი შეხარ თავხედი უზრდელი.
He made a post on Facebook saying no to Russian law, pretending that he was also against Russian law. Of course people on Facebook started laughing at his post, basically ratioing him because every state-funded organization are basically their bitches. Kindergarten school group chats got leaked where the kindergarten teachers were asking the parents of the kids and anyone else in that group chat to go ahead and like his post so he can get unratioed and it looks better. And what is this Russian law about? The Georgian Dream is Georgia's ruling party, which is run by a Russian oligarch. I am not exaggerating in any way. It was founded by Bidzina Ivanishvili and he is also the current chairman now. And Bidzina is Georgian, but he is by all means a Russian oligarch. He made his billions by exploiting the collapse of the Soviet Union and corruption in the privatization of the companies after the fall of the USSR, and now here he is with basically infinite money and the founder and the chairman of the ruling party in Georgia. I don't care if he's ethnically Georgian, he is by all means a Russian oligarch. This law is the exact same law that Putin brought to Russia in 2012, from which he basically used it to destroy civil society. And the worst thing about this law is what follows after, because the way and the rhetoric this law is introduced by follows the Russian rhetoric one-to-one. They do the same populist things that I will talk about soon, but this law changes as time goes on. Once the people get comfortable with calling someone and discrediting someone as a foreign agent, then they can do whatever they want with you. This is what Russia does. You have a foreign bank account, you are a foreign agent. Who cares if every single Russian oligarch has foreign bank accounts? It's just that we don't like this dude particularly because he opposes us, so he is a foreign agent and we will bar him from participating in elections. Only the selected, only the hateful eight are supposed to run in the elections that we cast and give them the ideology for. They can accuse you of being a foreign agent for as little as you having a foreign bank account. They can raid your homes and offices, discredit you as a foreign agent. If you have a non-government organization that regularly sends checks to Georgian churches for restoration and conservation, which is funded by the EU, then that is a foreign agent move. And the thing is, they will just label whatever the government doesn't like as a foreign agent action, and just like the law in Russia, it will progressively get worse over the years. I will probably be labeled a foreign agent because I get my money from fucking Google Ireland and YouTube, which is not a Georgian company. As much as I would love to be, I am not paid by the CIA. I regularly beg the CIA to please overthrow my government and give me a pro-EU and pro-Western government, because what the fuck is this shit, bro? They are embarrassing me. They tell all our allies to go fuck themselves, essentially, and then go to fucking Hungary to talk about conservative things while ignoring the fact that this Georgian dick who looks like his pillow exploded and this Hungarian fuck who looks like the spider from Monsters Inc. can talk about Christian values when they are looting their country and their people of money, resources, and a bright future while being funded by Russia and being extremely corrupt. Georgian Dream likes to say that they are doing this law because they want transparency, but you see, I know how Russian governments work. I grew up in one. Their transparency is not going to be real transparency. Do you think Georgian Dream will declare the money they're getting from Russia? The whole fucking party would have to declare themselves as foreign agents. Kobakhidze worked at USAID for a year and worked at the UN for 8 years. Get his ass! That man is a foreign agent himself. Get him out of the parliament. TLDR is that this law is a Russian law. It's exactly the same as the Russian law. It is nothing like the American FARA law or a law that any democratic country has, which is why we came up with No to Russian Law as our slogan. Our government's head is literally a Russian oligarch, and with the things they are resorting to pass this law, which you will hear about soon, it is not made with democracy, transparency, or freedom of speech in mind. And the fact that they need to spend millions of dollars to pretend that people support this law, the fact that Tbilisi's mayor is cursing out journalists over nothing, and the fact that we can tell they are shitting their fucking pants says a lot. Once they declare you as a foreign agent, they can do whatever they want with you. And as time goes on, more and more things will make you a foreign agent. We all know how our government works. We all know what they've done, how they make all their money. They're not doing this for transparency, and that is pretty transparent. Let's see who supports this law and who doesn't. Every single democratic and developed country in the world has urged us to not pass this law because this law is horrible. And the two people who are openly fans of this law are Dugin and Medvedev, notoriously known for their democratic values and their love for Georgia and freedom and free speech. Dugin is a man who advised the Russian government to occupy Tbilisi and form a pro-Russian government in the 2008 Russian-Georgian war. And he also had his daughter blown up in a car where he was supposed to be in. I'm not saying he had it coming, but Tbilisi must go, who must go? That's all I'm gonna say. And Medvedev is the dude who started the mentioned 2008 Russian-Georgian war. And he made a huge Telegram post about why this law is actually good. So now that you look at this side by side, are these really the allies and the enemies you want to have? I personally don't. You know, now that you frame it this way, I would rather have G.I. Joe and Anglos fighting beside me rather than Dugin and Medvedev. Populism is basically preaching to the choir of the majority in your country to rile up and divide them even more. The Georgian Dream says things such as the EU wants to spread LGBT propaganda in our country. And oh, the old people do not like that. Gay people in my country don't do the sex. In my country, no Georgian has ever obviously had gay sex before. Gay sex only appeared in the early 2000s in Georgia, and now they want us to do it? Listen up, what you don't understand is that the Europeans will force you to have gay sex. You know Mamuka, your neighbor that you farm with and tentau with? The EU soldiers, particularly the Dutch, will come up to you for your mandatory gay inspection because they have to meet the quota of 20% gay population per country in the EU. And once they see that Georgia is obviously at 0% because no Georgia has ever been gay in history before 2002, the Dutch with their EU armbands will go, "Wir haben ein Problem, they are not having gay sex," and tie you up in a chair like the Clockwork Orange and make you watch Lil Nas X music videos while feeding you ecstasy and LSD. You will like men and you will have gay sex. This is unnegotiable. The Georgian government takes their propaganda efforts straight from Russia. They never say, "Oh, look how good our country is, how rich we are, how good we're living." They say that the people in Europe are trying to spread LGBT propaganda. The Speaker of the Georgian Parliament said the 2024 parliamentary elections would be a referendum on LGBT propaganda. Ah, hell nah. These motherfuckers are embarrassing me, bro. Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Some of you seem to have forgotten that the CEO of Grindr is Georgian. I'm not getting influenced by LGBT propaganda. I am LGBT propaganda. A guy goes on Grindr and gets his dick sucked and you think it's me. I'm the one who made them meet. What I have described is basically what Georgian Dream has been pushing onto the elders. They'll steal your religion, your language. The Dutch will make you gay. Like genuinely the fact that they've been able to be this successful with just telling old people that Europe will make you gay is absolutely insane to me. As if the European Union does not help us and finance the fuck out of us in every single way. Georgian Dream likes to spread propaganda that the gay West or whatever is actually destroying our religion when they are doing the most out of everyone helping us. The US Embassy gave $500,000 for the conservation of Juari Monastery, $600,000 for the conservation of Gelati Monastery, $300K for the restoration of Dadiani Palace. Norway gave $2 million for the restoration of Old Town Tbilisi near Betlemi. The Netherlands gave 70,000 euros for the restoration of Alaverdi. Not to mention that the EU has helped out tons of common people in rural Georgia by helping them jumpstart businesses by just giving them the money and the grants they need for equipment and more. But no, the Dutch will make you gay at gunpoint. Also, I love the fact that there are just Dutch people watching me right now hearing me say all this shit. They're like that 50 Cent man. What do you say fuck me for? They're bringing in Russian talking points that like, oh, we need to protect our language, land and religion. Like, brother, literally the only one trying to take away all of that from us is Russia. They tried cleansing our language like a billion times during the Russian Empire and the USSR. Of course they couldn't do it, so pack watch. They occupy Georgian territories and might declare war at any time, just like they did in Ukraine. And religion-wise, Russians, of course, right, are notoriously known for being good Christians. My son, you have to declare war and murder all your fellow Christians that neighbor you and commit record levels of war crimes. Also make beating women legal in your country with the support of the Russian Orthodox Church. Slava Rossiya Z. I approve domestic violence. This is not what orthodoxy stands for. Beating your women, blessing nukes and being spies in a foreign country and agreeing with the government in their quest to kill fellow Christians. Like me personally, I cannot find that anywhere in the Bible, So the Georgian Dream have basically polarized the people a lot to the point where they call us, the protesters, Satanists, drug addicts, radicals, extremists. It's the same exact playbook that Russia uses when they call their opposition leaders extremists. Except this one time they were actually correct. Navalny is an extremist. Never asked Navalny why he marched with Nazis with the Russian Empire flag, why he called Georgians rodents that should be eradicated. Never asked Navalny what he thinks about the annexation of Crimea. Let's stop pretending that this man was some sort of savior and look at him as what he actually was. Just an imperialist who wanted to take Putin's power so he could be imperialist himself instead of Putin. They're the same people.
Здравствуйте! Сегодня мы поговорим о борьбе с насекомыми. Никто из нас не застрахован от того, что в наш дом заползет таракан. Фу, или в форточку залетит муха. Все мы знаем, что от мух отлично помогает мухобойка, а от тараканов тапка. Но что делать, если таракан окажется слишком велик, а муха не в меру агрессивна? Ну а в этом случае я рекомендую пистолет.
They're throwing P. Diddy parties in the parliament, bruh. They regularly get exposed for fucking prostitutes and also trans prostitutes, which says a lot about where their homophobia comes from. And you know what's crazy? After our protesting, the Georgian Dream had the brilliant idea of making their own protest, which was a pro-foreign agent law protest. And they hit up the classic Russian playbook that we have seen hundreds and hundreds of times in other post-Soviet countries. First off, you gotta call up the dictator. ბიძო, რა შვები ბიჭო? ეს ახალგაზრდები twins ყნავენ, რამე უნდა ვქნათ? და, კი არა, ხო ახლავე. We have to make a rally for people that support this law. Ბიძო, nobody actually supports this law. You know that won't be a problem. Your crowd is going to be state workers, their families, and poor people from rural towns that quote-unquote support you. The only reason they are poor is of course you, but hey, giving them 100 lari should cover the cost of the country's present, future, and should forgive you for the past corruption that kept them poor in the first place. This actually actually became a meme in Georgia because these old people were selling their votes and coming to these rallies for potatoes. Some even got money, but there was a time when these people were selling their vote for potatoes. The thing is, yes, a lot of these people that came here were actually just selling their country off for like 100 lari. It used to be like 20 before, but man, inflation hit us like pyro, so that's why it's 100 now. But a lot of these people here are just state workers such as kindergarten or school teachers, bus drivers, just any sort of state work you can imagine, because they were literally called up to go to this rally, and they're also called up to vote for the Georgian Dream in the elections. And unless they do what they ask of them, they might just lose their job coincidentally around a month later. So a lot of these people are basically owned by Georgian Dream, and if they don't go to that rally or vote for the Georgian Dream, then their livelihood is gone. This is pretty sad, but that's another one of their strategies. For example, here's a video of Kutaisi City Hall being basically empty. Kutaisi is the third biggest city in the country, and their city hall was like a ghost town when this rally was going on because they just shipped everyone off to Tbilisi for this particular rally. And also here's another video of a man just being honest that he's getting paid. Yo, these motherfuckers had pre-recorded claps for this rally, bro. Georgian Dream is so cooked. Around 15 million lari was spent on this protest, giving each person 100 to 200 lari, organizing all these buses, getting alcohol for these people which they were leaving the streets dirty with. That's more than $5.6 million just for this one rally. So paid people, free transportation from rural Georgia to Tbilisi for this rally. The streets were fucking packed with buses, threatening workers with firing them from their jobs if they don't attend. 15 million spent. All that just to reach like 90,000 people at this rally. Meanwhile, we get easily 100k on random fucking days on these protests. They're just not putting up numbers like we are. We ran on them digits, we ran on them money. Just a random Tuesday, 100,000 people minimum. Which is why they have resorted to cursing you out on your phone with hidden or Ukrainian numbers that you saw before. As for the protests themselves, some of you might remember me, of course, from last year saying, "Not gonna lie, guys. Tear gas ain't shit. I'm tired of these motherfuckers saying tear gas is this, tear gas is that. If I catch any one of y'all motherfuckers talking sweet about tear gas, I'm fucking beating their ass. I'm not fucking playing no more." I know you guys have a question. Does this still stand? Of course. Tear gas still ain't shit. I was smiling taking pictures of me with burning eyes. You know what? Next time, I'm not even taking the gas mask. I just wasted my money buying it. I'm just gonna go in raw. I wanna sniff those canisters. Georgian Dream think they're gonna get me off with some tear gas? Nuh-uh. Honestly, you guys know my stance about this. This tear gas shit like the first shot of Henny. Anyways, of course I will be protesting. I urge everyone living in Georgia to come out with me and protest against this tyranny. I've already met a lot of viewers on these protests and I will gladly meet more of you. Also, if you want to hear me talk about this for 30 plus minutes, you can check out my interview with Popular Front about this exact subject with the extremely handsome and independent Jake Hanrahan. Go to Popular Front and subscribe to them. The podcast will be linked in the description, and if you are in Tbilisi, come out and protest with me. Ara Rusul Kanons, no to Russian law, like and subscribe, and goodbye.
ერთი ძალიან საინტერესო მეცნიერულ, ფსიქოლოგიურ, ფილოსოფიური დასკვნა გამოვიტანე ამ ცხოვრების შემყურებ. ძველი მთავრობის დედაც მოტყა. ეხლანდელისაც და მომავლისას ვინც იქნება.